Welcome, everyone. It is simply fantastic to see such a big audience. And I would never have imagined that we in Oslo could gather 650 people listening to a subject like fintech disruption. I'm based in Stockholm. I live in Stockholm. In Stockholm, we could probably do it. But now I've seen we can also do it in Oslo. So, welcome everyone. A few words about myself. My name is Martin Hauge. My Twitter is MS Hauge, for those of you who wants to do a tweet. And please use the hashtag at TechLiveOslo when you're tweeting. And tweet. We love tweets. So I've been with one of the larger venture capital firms in the Nordics and also in Europe since 2004. It's a firm called Crandum. Crandum is well known, maybe mostly for being, together with Northzone Ventures, the first investors in a music company you might have heard of, that's called Spotify. I'm not actively in the investment team of Crandum anymore. I'm currently an angel investor. I'm doing a couple of other things as well. I will tell you a little bit more about two of my companies at least before I end the presentation of myself. But before Crandum 2004, I've been a co-founder of multiple companies. The two last companies was a company that was established down at Aker Brygge, which was called Interaction Design, which I exited in 1999. And 2 years later, together with a childhood friend of mine in Copenhagen, we formed a company called Creuna. But that's all history. Since then, I've been with Crandum. We have done multiple investments, close to 70 investments altogether, also in the fintech area. In Sweden, there is a vibrant startup community, and there's a number of billion-dollar companies. Maybe in the fintech area, the most well-known is Klarna, a billion-dollar company. Crandum has done investments in iSettle, well-known for being the card reader for smaller businesses. And Crandum has done also investments in the Bitcoin blockchain area. Privately, I have also invested in the Bitcoin area, and I'm very interested in this fintech area. I think it's an area where we will see great disruptions in the coming years. And I've said multiple times that the kind of profits we see in the bank and insurance, among the large bank and insurance companies, is a witness of an ineffective market. When you see the number of smaller companies today that all want to take a little slice of this huge market, you understand that these giants in the coming years will see great challenges. So then a little commercial of two of my babies. One is a Swedish company doing fleet management. I'm interested in Internet of Things as well. And it's a company that has a little product like this. It's called Automile. And with this little thing here, you can keep track of your car. You subscribe to a little software on that you install on your PC or your mobile, and that software is communicating with this little unit here, telling you where your car is, how it's been driven, all kind of information from your car. It's a very successful company that we are now bringing from the Nordics to to the United States. And I'm 3 hours ago, I came in from San Francisco, where I've been to the board meeting of this little company. Also another company I will mention to you, which is very well known in Norway, I know, which is also one of my babies. It's a company called Vivino. Vivino is the wine app, 40 million users. A lot of them in Norway, not all the 14 million, of course, but a lot of them here. Unfortunately, we are not able to sell wine to you guys, but in the rest of the world, the free world, as I call it, we are selling wine. And then I will finish off by mentioning my little baby, a small company based here in Oslo called No Isolation. It's a company with a double bottom line. It's one for the heart and one for the wallet. And the one for the heart is because this company is helping people out of isolation. A lot of people are suffering today from isolation. We have started targeting a group which is small children being suffering from long-term illness, being away from both education but also social learning. Social learning is so important during your childhood, during your teenage years, and you can imagine, missing out time during your teenage years will make damage to your social learning. And we are trying to help this by launching products to help these kids. So now we will have a look at the program. The usual thing has happened here, as it always happens. We are behind schedule. But after we finish here, Susanne will take us through an excellent report that she has just finished. Then we will move into a very exciting session with crowdfunding, where Sean will head that session. And then there will be a break before we do a fireside chat and a panel debate. We will finish off by an award session, and I know there's so many exciting companies that have been fighting to reach to the top of this and to get this award. So now I will introduce Knut Anders Wangen from MobilePay, who will say a few words.
Thank you very much. What a turnout. Great. Before we get started, I just want to praise the achievement, Sean. Very great job. You came, we spoke for the first time a couple of months ago. You came here with a dream, and you pulled it off. We still have an event to do, but this is a very promising start. The mic is off? Now it's on. I just have to speak very much in. All right. As Mr. Hauge said, some people might consider it as a paradox that a bank would sponsor an event to foster more attacks on the financial industry. Well, I don't. The fintech movement is not only about nibbling into the value chain of banks. It is also to create more value and making the pie bigger for everyone. And in Danske Bank, we choose to see this accelerated speed of movement as an opportunity. And to start this conference, I want to show you a video that explains the position that Danske Bank takes in this.
So this is what we, in my business, call the demo devil. It takes a little while before we have it running. Be patient.
From birthdays and weddings to childbirth and retirement, our life events are more or less the same as they always have been. But in an increasingly digital world, our daily actions and consumer behavior is constantly changing. New IT-enabled trends, such as the social matrix, big data, microsegmentation, cloud computing, and mobile consumer experiences have created new opportunities. Consumers feel that traditional banking is too serious, too complex, non-transparent, and lacks complete digital solutions. And this has opened the doors to new competitors in the financial services sector. If action is not taken, consumers will choose other solutions they feel can help them better in their everyday lives. We are already seeing this unstoppable evolution, which will result in even more choices for the consumer, thereby creating a radically different ecosystem. The consumer's daily demands are clear. They want control, optimized spending, to be met with true engagement and understanding of their needs. And above all, it must be easy. To meet these demands and develop a strong relationship with the consumers, we must provide a digital platform that caters to practical and emotional values. And just as Spotify revolutionized music, Netflix revolutionized movies, and Airbnb revolutionized travel, Danske Bank should also revolutionize banking. Mobile pay has proven we are capable, but with our new platform, we want to take it one step further and become the consumer's trusted companion in their day-to-day spending and throughout their life events. As part, we wish to offer merchants an improved payment platform, along with enhanced customer loyalty, insights, and marketing.
I am extremely proud to work for a bank that has this attitude towards this challenge we're up against. And there are three takeaways that I want you to sit back with. And the first one is, we do not plan to make it easy for companies to come in and steal the revenue and the space we intend to be in. Secondly, we also have a fundamental belief that we believe in the co-creation of value, and we are very open to having dialogues with partners who can create value for our customers and also mobile pay users. And third, Danske Bank also has a lot of other products in their suitcase, and we are very much open to having dialogue with emerging fintech startups as a financial partner. So I think that's it for me. We have a stand out here. The whole team is present, so please come by our stand and let's have a chat. All right? Thank you. Enjoy the room.
And of course, thank you very much to Danske Bank also for being a sponsor to this event. You see a number of our partners here: Knowit, Fintech Mundi, Abelia, Selmer, Beringer Finance, and Ayer. I think we should give them applause. They are partners, and you know what partners mean? That means they are paying. So let's give them applause. So let me introduce Susanne. She has been extensively working with a report. And for us who have had the chance to have a glimpse of it, we are very excited to hear Susanne telling us more about it.
Thank you, Martin. This is the report that is fresh out of the printer today, so I'm going to take you through some of the findings that we had with this report. First of all, Fintech Mundi, we are an ecosystem providing help for fintechs throughout the world. We are located here in Oslo at Havnelageret. We are located in Dublin, we are located in London, and we also located down in Tel Aviv. So we cover quite a lot of space. When it comes to the report, this is the freshest. We have more reports outside, and of course we can also provide the electronic format of it. We have interviewed more than 30 people, banks and fintech companies in Europe, and of course here in the Nordics, and quite a lot of good findings. We have summed up the key findings in what we called Upstart. Uprising, partnership, simplicity, trust, agility, relationship, and transparency. So you see, it's quite a wide discussions that we are doing with the report. And I will also thank you, the sponsors. It's BDO and Danske Bank that had made this report possible. First of all, the infrastructure in Norway and the Nordics is impeccable. This is world class. We are close to cashless in the northern society, and I don't think any other region in the world can compare with that. Iceland has always been in the forefront. You wouldn't think there, but at Iceland they are very clever at utilizing a payment system in a very nice way. But all of the Nordics is fantastic in that matter. When it comes to fintech startup, Martin was mentioning a few of the Swedish, and they topping the list. I will highlight iSettle that we have interviewed for the report, so you find quite a lot from Magnus Nilsson, one of the founders. And just recently, iSettle, they is expanding into the SME financing. So it's not only about the merchant side. So they're doing also the finance thing. So hence why they gathered quite a lot of investment last year. This is all together. And then Swipe, they also gathered quite a lot of investment last year. Altogether, they have $7 million, but last year they got $5 million, quite a lot, and also from a Chinese partner, so it's more an industrial partner that is going in. iSettle has used more Nordson and Creandum as investors, but Swipe differently. Comparing to the US or to the UK. UK is in the lead when it comes to investment and also starting up. Cameron did quite a good job when he came on in 2010 and said we need to do something here in London where we have the city. And everything that has come after is of course increasing. London is the capital of fintech and there's a lot of inspirations to get there. Secondly, the Nordic region is coming on quite nicely. I think there is quite a lot of fintech companies that would like to have more money from the fintechs. So I think it's a good invitation from the investors that is in this room with the fantastic technology that is providing from the fintech community in the Nordics. Depressing businessman. It's all about trust. That's one of the themes that we are speaking about in the report that we have made. Banks is funded or based on trust and their customer base. If the trust is going away, it's very, very hard to keep the customers. And we have seen throughout the world how the trust is diminishing for the financial or the banks. While on the other side, the tech companies, they are on the other side. So there are some things to be done there, even though the Nordic banks, they are doing pretty well compared to their counterparts in the rest of the world. Collaboration and building a relationship between banks and fintech is a key thing. And some of the banks in the Nordics, they're saying that convenience and low price is some of the things that they see in the fintechs that they will look after. We know there are quite a few fintechs throughout the world that are able to reduce the prices on their products with down to 10% compared to some of the banks. Of course, this is widespread, and having banks with a legacy system, with their tall buildings, with their salaries and so forth, the fintechs has a lot of good going for them, and in particular agility. So the crossroad between the banks and the fintechs is a good way out of this. Transparency is another thing, hence the prices. We've seen that quite a lot of the fintechs, they are much more open with the pricing and what they're offering compared to some of the banks who have complex products, variations of a product, which is hard for us, a consumer, to understand what it's all about. So hence, transparency is a key thing to gain trust and to gain the confidence from the consumers. The fintechs are leading the way. Using Swipe with Kim Humberstad, the CEO, as an example, he's saying that the fintechs are leading the way. Getting all the feedback from customers, from partners, and bringing that in to the production, the development, and so forth, is the key for them. And I think a lot of companies, or all companies, to gain the trust. And again, here comes the trust into play. Upstart banking, and we have quite a lot of a portfolio of fintech companies in the Nordics. This is absolutely something to be proud of. This is not all. We have selected 4 in each category. Day-to-day loans, wealth planning, finance and borrowing, and payments. All these things that are replacing parts of the value chains to the banks. Of course, Bitcoin and blockchain is coming. We heard what Martin is investing in. And then we have authentication and security. And I think these are all Norwegian companies. They have a fabulous positioning to take this globally. And that's what they're going to do as well. And then with the infrastructure that we have created in the Nordics and the security and authentication, I think this is a winner and on a world-class level. Before we go over to the next, I will like to highlight Islero, who's going to be in the crowdfunding there. So we're all looking forward to how that's going to go. The second candidate is sitting in the front here. That's Cloud Insurance. They are disrupting the insurance world, so that's going to be a fantastic thing. Another player I would like to highlight is Bright. They have just recently made pay-as-you-go solution on their product that they are selling in Africa using M-Pesa, and we all know that Telenor is having Easy Paisa in the Asian countries. So there's a lot coming from the Nordics here. With that, I thank you for the time, and you're all welcome to get at least some of these. We don't have for everyone, so please go out and talk with Denise about the report, and then we will provide you with the electronic format. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Susanna. It is very interesting, and I think it's fascinating, and I'm really looking forward to what is will happen going forward in this very exciting space. I think I mentioned to you that 3 hours ago I came in from Silicon Valley. I've been there for a week. I'm there quite often. And from time to time, I'm attending something called Demo Day in an incubator called 500 Startups. 500 Startups is one of the bigger players, bigger incubators in the Silicon Valley. And I'm very proud that 500 Startups chose Oslo as the site to set up a a sub-branch of 500 startups when they entered Europe. And now, yeah, I will introduce Sean. Where is he? There is he. Sean is a partner with 500 startups, and he's the guy who is now going to be the head of the Nordic initiative.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Great. Thank you. This session here is hosted by us and Angel Challenge. You'll hear about them in a minute. First of all, what's really interesting, and also our partners as well, Bidra.no and Investor, I hope I'm saying those right, this is the first time you can legally invest via crowdfunding like this. So don't be shy. You're not going to go to jail. I don't think. The good news is if you do, Norwegian jails are really nice. So it's probably better than most of the hotels that you're in right now. But this is really exciting. Sweden's been doing this a little bit. We've done a little bit of this in the US via AngelList and other vehicles. But this is a great way for you to sort of get up there, toss a little bit of money in. I can tell you, early stage investing, you're probably going to lose your money. You might as well have a little bit of fun while you're doing it. And that's what you can do here today. So you're here to see companies. I don't want to talk too much about what we're doing, but myself, I'm American, Thomas is Swedish. We are required to brag just a little bit. So to that point, 500 Startups is the most active seed investor in Silicon Valley and across the world at this point. We've now done 1,400 investments into early stage companies, about 120 which I have done myself. As Martin mentioned, we did set up shop here in Oslo to get started, and we just completed our first accelerator, where we took 12 companies through the paces of establishing product market fit, getting initial growth, and learning how to talk to investors like all of you and steal that hard money that's so difficult to get. We are also now moving on to Stockholm as well, where we're doing a later stage program, and we are going to come back to Norway again in September, where we have our next pre-accelerator, and that will take place in Stavanger. So with that, I would like Thomas to come up as well, and he's going to tell us a little bit about Angel Challenge. Please come on up. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. It was one of my first participants in Angel Challenge, one of the guys that really thought it was a great idea. Short about me, Thomas Berglund. I'm what you call a serial entrepreneur. I've founded one edtech and two medtech companies and sold those. My contribution into the fintech industry is using the mobile phone to transfer cash to my 3 daughters. And I'm also acting as a personal coach to the 2 guys, the 2 companies coming up here today. Now about Angel Challenge. So I'm co-founding my new babies. I've co-founded what's called Angel Challenge. It's all about the vision is to activate private investors to become business angels, to invest into startups, to use the collective intelligence of the private investors, use their joint network and their experience to help new startups succeed, adding money and competence and experience. So that's all about Angel Challenge. We ran our first program in October last year. That was a success. We have now one in spring that's already fully booked after 2 days. If there's anyone here from Bergen, Trondheim or Stavanger, we're running 3 programs. Bergen now in this spring, and Bergen and Stavanger and Trondheim after summer, and another one in Oslo. So if you want to join those, you can come to me or Knut Wien, the CEO of Angel Challenge. Thank you very much, guys.
All right. I think we might have a slide that talks about the directions here. If we can get that up, that'd be great. But to get started, go to bidra.no/techlive. All you do there is select the company that you want to invest in, and it's just that easy. It's like buying a new dress. Click, and you've invested in that company. We have some other judges as well. Can we have them come up here? We're going to have them do quick intros of themselves. Let's start with Stian.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Is it on?
I don't think so.
Yeah. My name is Stian Rustad, and I'm the CEO and the founder of 24/7 Office.
I don't think we have a mic on you. Can you check the...
Switch on.
Yep, looks good. Here you
Can you hear me better now? No.
Yeah.
24/7 Office, it's the #1 and the first cloud-based ERP system in Norway, and actually the first one in Europe, I guess. But I'm also an angel investor, so I invested in several companies, approximately 20 companies as a business developer and angel investor, mostly within the knowledge-based companies.
Okay, thank you. Please have a seat. Thank you. Our next, Martin Falk from 360 Leaders. Hopefully your mic works.
Try this.
All right, sounds good.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Like my name brother Martin, who brings capital, I bring the human capital. I run one of the leading tech executive search firms in London. We've done some fun stuff like building a CEO academy, founded something called Hot Topics, which is events and a publishing platform to engage tech leaders. We work with some big corporates that I could brag about, like Facebook and Every and Schibsted and some of these companies. But the companies I'm really proud of are companies like Vivino, NCAP, Signicat, BehavioSec, and a bunch of other startups, Klarna in Sweden, and help them grow internationally. I always say that if you can attract talent, you can attract capital. If you can attract capital, you can attract more clients. You can attract more clients. You can also attract acquirers. So talent is the key. And I will look for attractiveness in the teams.
Yep. Thank you so much for joining us. The format of this, we give them a round of applause. Yes, thank you. All right, you guys are energetic. You must have hit that bar. That's great. Have more beers, make more investments. As we mentioned, sort of here's the flow. Very, very simple to get started. And then the minimum investment, 50,000 NOK. The format will be a 7-minute pitch, and then there'll be 7-minute Q&A from the judge. And with that, let's just get started. Isolero, please come on up. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
Thanks. Is there a clicker? Of some sorts?
There you go.
Thanks. Hi everyone. Whoa. My name is Frede Fardal. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders behind Isolero. What we do is that we aggregate equity research and we make it available for investors and retail investors. We're looking for 1 million kroners on a valuation of 10 million kroners. And the reason I'm here is because investing sucks if you're not rich. If you're like me, a normal guy trying to invest in the stock market, getting hold of the right information to make my decisions is pretty difficult. I basically have two choices. I can access research from the banks and brokers, but it's often tied up to commission or is offering limited market coverage. On the other hand, I can go online, I can see through the news, maybe chat when we go to the forums, but it's really difficult to know who to trust, what information to trust, and really base any decisions on it. And that's why we're creating Isolero. So basically, it's a platform where we bring in the research and equity analysis from some of the best researchers in the world. We bring it into our platform and make it available for investors through a subscription. We have developed algorithms which enables the investors to see the actual return on investment and the performance of the different analysts, which makes you able to actually choose which analyst to trust based on actual math. So this gives some pretty good advantages to investors. It's pretty cheap. Our basic package is just $25 a month. We actually show the return of investments of the analysts, and we of course keep you updated whenever new research is published. And the way this works is that 70% of all the revenue is divided back to the analyst. And this business model actually gives a sustainable distribution model for researchers to actually monetize their work. The market for equity research is actually pretty big. We're looking at a global market of $20 billion a year, and in our first target market, we're looking at a market of 450 million a year. So this is cool. We have a defined problem, we have a defined solution, and we have a huge market. But on top of this, it's two things that's happening. And those are two disruptive trends. So on one hand, you have commission-free trading apps like Robinhood, actually offering investors to trade for free. In the first 5 months of Robinhood in the US, they had transactions of $1 billion. And they're now entering Europe, offering free trading to retail investors. They're basically creating a new market, and a new market that needs research. Second of all, you have MiFID II. MiFID II is the regulation covering the entire financial market in Europe. they're updating their laws in 2018. And one of these laws is really disruptive for equity research because it changes the entire way research is distributed. No longer can the banks provide free research. Investors have to specifically pay for the research. But don't take my word for it, take Bloomberg's word for it. But yes, there are competitors. And there are 4 large competitors, but we truly believe that we differentiate us on 3 factors. 1, our business model is really giving incentives to the analysts to actually use us as a distribution platform. Second of all, we're actually showing how well the analysts are performing. And third, we're actually targeting Europe and not just focusing on the US like every other new startup. This is the team. We are 6 people with backgrounds from NTNU. We are 2 business and developers. It's me and Marius. We're located now at the prestigious Level 39 accelerator in London and then attacking the beast from within. And we have joined by 4 talented developers, all with an extensive background developing security and trading systems for some of the largest banks in Norway. So we already have some traction. Last year, we had a huge beta test with 1,350 investors and DNB. This December, we were actually ranked top 20 of the 680 fintech companies worldwide that applied for the Barclays Techstar Accelerator. Now, there's 2,000 investors signed up to use this platform. And we've already raised 700,000 through angel investors and Innovation Norway. So, this is how it works. We already have the demand. We have 2,000 investors signed up. So the key now is actually getting content. And we are actually getting content from some of the best equity researchers in the world. We're already onboarded previous equity researchers from Seeking Alpha, Motley Fool, Nordea, and Thomson Reuters. But on top of this, we're also bringing in the huge firms, like Mergent, providing over 300,000 annual research papers each year. And to get this beast growing for a run, we have developed a marketing strategy that's we're using partners. So basically what trend now is there's coming a lot of new different investment apps, trading apps. What we are doing is we're developing an API. We're hooking directly into these apps, and we actually piggyback riding them, accessing their growth. So the ask is 1 million kroners. The valuation is 10 million. This is going to be used to achieve a 4 million annual recurring revenue, which will make us able to actually go for a Series A funding, achieving much larger fundings. This will be used mostly to fuel the growth engine that we have developed by providing 500,000 to our analysts. The 200,000, 300,000 is for further development and keeping us in the heart of where everything happens in London. We're launching next quarter, and I hope you will join us. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
So this is an investment opportunity into an investment tool. It's kind of investment inception going on here. Interesting.
Absolutely.
Judges, do you have any questions for them? Thomas, go ahead.
I do. I've been following you guys for a while, and seeing you up there makes me a little bit proud. So, very good presentation. But now to the barbecue here. So, MiFID, you claim that being this huge opportunity, but we have some real big players in this room, big banks. Do you think they will just sit there and do nothing? I mean, if it's such a huge market, how will you protect yourself?
Oh, absolutely. Like the banks they're in working high gear. But one thing that's really important to notice is that their entire industry is being attacked, like from all different angles. This is just one of the different angles that the bank has to defend itself from. We're fast, we're agile, and we're trying to use this opportunity. But of course, banks will develop their own systems. We already have some traction, so our further plan is just to use this, build it further on, and try to actually compete with the banks.
Other questions?
Yeah, I have one. But I'm not sure whether it works.
It works now.
Okay, great. You said you have 2,000 customers. Are any one of those paying yet, or do they have to wait until second quarter when you launch the system?
Right now we have 2,000 users, so we're still pre-revenue. and when we launch the new service, they will be able to purchase the subscription.
But do you know how often they log into the system today?
So what we're doing now before we launch is that we got some reports that we're sending out through email. So we're tracking how many people read those reports, and so far we've averaged about 40% of the 2,000 investors have been reading the reports on a regular basis.
Cool. Good.
Martin?
Yeah, well done, guys. Great presentation. You're young, full of energy. Do you have any experience in the team in this space at all?
No, we're 6 engineers basically, and of course this is a huge challenge. It's a question we get. Like, I expected you guys to be 45-year-old Wall Street traders, which we're not. So the positive thing is that we're looking at the industry from the outside in, trying to engineer a solution to a problem that's really obvious to us. But of course, we need experience on the team, and one of the things we're actually working on now is recruiting someone with experience. So actually, on this next Tuesday, we have an interview with a financial expert with 10 years in the business to try and get the team more experienced.
Can I ask one more quick question?
Yeah, please.
How were you perceived in the UK when you went out and met all these partners and so on? What was their response? What do they say?
Well, they're always looking for new opportunities to reach out to potential customers. So we're trying to first we get the research provider, and then we leverage that and tell the application that we got all this great content coming along. You have a great application for trading brokerage, but you don't have any information that can help the investors to make their decisions on. So we're trying to get the snowball to roll, and it's been working out so far. But of course, we're entering a new market, and that's why we placed ourselves at level 39, where there's access to a great network.
But what did they say to you? That's what you said to them. What did they say to you? What was the feedback?
The content providers or the...
No, the potential partners.
So I guess they're also seeing of course, the disruption in the business. A lot of people we see, they have been struggling. They have been doing the investments themselves. They know information is not available. They see the potential that Seeking Alpha is doing in the US, and they're seeing young guys, and they are sitting on the expertise. And when we partner with them, they see the match, like young guys running fast and the old guys with good experience.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Let me ask you. You said growth engine, which sounds good. Tell me specifically, what is that? So how did you get to 2,000 users? How are you getting your next 2,000 to 5,000 users?
Okay, so the initial 2,000 users, we've been mostly focused on getting the content. So they have mostly come through word of mouth. We've tried running a couple of Facebook ads, but that's like 1,500 NOK, so basically nothing. So really cheap budget so far. So what we're trying to do, like the initial phase, is to partner up with Willio so that we can gain access to their users, so that we'll get a large amount of users in just one big chunk. So that's basically our strategy at this point.
I get it. So you partner, this is a big company, they're going to send an email. I also see this as a death of most startups, where they think one partnership is going to make it. Like, what else do you have?
So of course, our main focus is of course our platform. Investment apps is a great opportunity to reach out to customers, but we're creating a full tool that uses algorithms. We're providing market data to actually show the research in its full view. So the apps are more like a marketing tool. So the full experience is of course our own web pages. This is not our only option. This is just one of the tools to actually reach out. In our pipeline, we have, for instance, cooperations with some actually Facebook groups, which have 20,000 investors actively chatting looking for this. So we're actually partnering up with one who has 20,000 in Sweden, and I guess 15,000 in Denmark. So these are good places to start. And the APIs are just another way to fuel the machine.
And what about paid channels? Any paid channels you think are really going to make this business work?
Well, as I said initially, our focus has been on the partnerships. So I guess that's one point we'll be looking more into in the future, but that we haven't investigated so far because right now we don't have that much money to spend on advertising.
Sure. Okay. Other questions from the judges? Yes.
Are the whole team situated in London, or do you work remotely together?
At the moment, 5 or 6 are. So the rest is through Slack and online communication.
Okay, let's do one more question if we have one. No?
I'm sending 50,000 your way, guys.
There you go. You got some money. Use that for some ads. Good. Did you have one more?
Just one more question about, you said you launched in the second quarter, but are you sure that you will make it technology-wise? Is it application that ready, or can you guarantee it?
Guarantee Q2? Yes, I can. We have been developing this for the last year, actually. The beta test was done in the summer, and we've been developing the new platform since summer. So we're getting pretty up to speed. So Q2 is actually a kind of a buffer for us. Hopefully, we'll try to actually launch earlier.
Good.
Good.
Thank
Great.
you.
Let's hear it for them, everyone. Thank you.
Woo!
Good job on that. I think we took an easy on you, so the next one may be a little tougher. We'll see. Our next company, Cloud Insurance, please come on up to the stage. Take this. Take this. And I think we actually want you here. I don't really want you too close to the judges. I don't know if you have any Jedi mind tricks or anything. I think this is the best photo angle as well. Take it away.
Well, thank you. My name is Axel Sjöstedt. I am the CEO of Cloud Solutions. We are the makers of Cloud Insurance. We're here today to launch our crowdfunding campaign. We're raising 950,000 kroners at 13.5 million valuation. Now, we're really looking for people that have an interest in our business and that would kind of join our journey going further. So this is essentially the perfect crowd for us in this crowdfunding. So, what is Cloud Insurance? Cloud Insurance is a software as a service for the insurance industry. So what the product does is to help the insurance industry launch their products. It provides the infrastructure to handle policies and claims and essentially every part of the business. Now, what are the main values we provide? First of all, the system is very data-driven. It can optimize sales performance. It provides very good input to risk analysis and so on, so forth. It reduces time to market, and this is hugely important because this is a business that is in the need of moving faster, and that it was the system provides the ability to launch new products at a very fast pace and engage and test the market in a whole new level. Now, it also moves closer to the customer, creates good customer journeys by involving the customer, and of course, from our client's perspective, reduces cost, improves automation efficiency so their employees can use time on what matters the most, which is creating value. Now, this is a team. As you see, we do some stock photo modeling on the side. Myself and Håvard were the co-founders of the company. It do seem like we have a very similar profile. Actually, it does seem like we're the same person. We are not. We have different roles, fill different positions, and Håvard is the key tech wizard at our place. We met at the Norwegian School of Economics, where we found out that we had a mutual interest in technology. There aren't many IT nerds at NHH, sadly. There are mostly finance nerds. They sit and optimize their stock portfolio, while Håvard and I sat and optimized our web platform or whatever. Now, it's only not the co-founders running the business. These are the 4 key people that constitutes the Cloud Insurance team. We have Ragnar and Susanne, which are co-located at our offices in Havnelageret. You have met Susanne already, and they are essentially key players that provides experience in the IT and also the finance and insurance sector. Now, on a related note, we are in the process of establishing an advisory board. So in case you think this is exciting, please do have a chat with us in the break. We would really appreciate that. Now, this is where we are now. Before we get into that, I'll just rewind a little bit and tell you about the start. While studying, Håvard and I were invited to improve the processes of handling claims for the Norwegian Football Association, which is a group policy of hundreds of thousands of people with thousands of claims per year. We quickly discovered that it was a huge potential for automation, effectivization, and use of technology. And that is, by the way, a huge understatement. We're talking papers, almost fax machines. So that was kind of the birth of cloud insurance. It has evolved and now it has become really a full stack solution for the insurance industry, providing claims and policy management features. We have operated as a lean startup the last 3 years with a combined revenue of 5.5 million and 1 million kroners in profits. We have had the lean startup approach. We've been paid from day one and been profitable from day one, and have got extremely good input from our customers into creating a product that really works and that our customers are really fond of. So at the moment we have customers in Scandinavia, the UK, the USA, and in total they have a global operation. That means that this system is in use every day in 15 different countries across 5 continents. Lots of the operations are in China and India, and we are in the process of translating the system to Chinese to cater the Chinese market and having Chinese citizens pay using their preferred methods of payments like Alipay, which is really exciting. Just to show you a few customer cases so you get a sense of what this system really is and what it can do. One of our customers is Vardia Insurance Group, which I guess a lot of you know. They have a line of affinity products, group products, that they use cloud insurance to be the centerpiece of. One of those programs is for Komplett Group, which is the largest e-commerce players in the Nordics. Cloud insurance is used for essentially everything in connection to that offering. Sales, management of sales, analysis, the total handling of claims, with all these insurances that Komplett is bundling together with their products. And we have created very lean and very automated and good processes that also works very well from a customer perspective, which is very important for both Vardia and for Komplett. Now, that was a typical Scandinavian product. Let's take the more global approach here. Compass Benefits Group is a Boston-based company, which is one of our 2 American clients, which is a good example of how this system can scale globally. What they do is that they have a global network of customers and partners that are able to fully themselves use this system to issue policies or whatever. So we could have a school, for instance, a place in China that uploads thousands of people into the system. It calculates the premiums, it sends out documents to each individual and charges the credit card and so on. And the people in Boston can just lean back and see that this system works and that they are able to administrate it with minimal effort. We also have a range of other clients
You're down to your last few seconds, so
I'm sorry.
I
just love to talk about this. We're actually at the very finish of the presentation. We're seeking fundings and partners for our phase 2, which is to invest 1.9 million in our approach to scale globally, in which we will take the one half from our running business and the other half from this crowdfunding. So thank you very much.
So, early stage startup, what matters most to me is traction. I feel like you had it, but I missed it. So can you just, once again, what is the traction? What's revenue? What's your KPI? Hit us with those numbers one more time.
Last year we had a revenue of short north of 2 million kroners with 300,000 in revenue. Now, we have kind of had our backs against the market until this year. And now we're reaching the next phase. So our aim for the year that's coming is to increase our customer base of 60%. which looking at the empirical data will increase the numbers of users and numbers of policies created by 400% if you add on the development of our existing clients.
Okay,
Yep.
good. I think you should just, general advice, if you're making money, talk about that in slide 2.
We're making a lot of money, people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't be shy, do not hide that. Go ahead. Any questions?
Okay, I have a question. I mean, it's fascinating to see two guys like you making clients. How do you get the clients? I mean, you have in China, you have in the US. I mean, how do you attract the clients?
Well, the truth is that the clients until now have come to us through references by existing clients. What does that imply? Well, I think we offer a good service and a first-class product. They love the product, and they even want their competitors to use it to kind of fuel the growth of the product. So I'd say that all our customers are our allies in making this scale.
Yeah. But can you show your scalable model? Do you have a scalable model that I can prove the scalable model today?
Yeah, I would say we have a very clear indication that this is super scalable. We want to use the next year to employ marketing personnel and get the real kind of take of the American market, which is very important to us. But I do think that we will see that this scales very well. Now, as for the business model, it's a lot of recurring revenue, so the business model is very scalable. It's basically a commission of the premium amount that runs through the system and a price per claim. So that scales both for us and our customers.
Why don't you ask for 10 million, 20 million, 30 million? Why 900,000 and 1.9 million? If this scales the way it does now, and you already have international clients, people should be throwing money out after you.
Yeah, hopefully they do. Well, what I can say is that this is for the next phase, and we thought that this crowdfunding was a really nice idea to get people interested and wanting to join our business. We are looking at a new round of funding, I would say, in about a year, which is more the typical Series A funding. So this is, you can see it as a step, or a broemission, as we call it in Norwegian.
I like the question. I think people would be throwing money, though, if you proved out, this is acquisition cost, this is the money we make. Word of mouth is great, so great, things are working, but it's almost like getting up there and being like, yeah, it's just going to go viral. Probably not. So having more quantifiable, that's I think what the question he was asking. How do you quantify growth, and show that, what do you do beyond word of mouth? You have to answer that, but it's just a question or a comment. But other from the judge?
I have one question. You have a scalable business, but you have a scalable ERP system?
Sorry?
Do you use a scalable ERP system since you have a scalable business?
Yeah, we choose only the best system, so of course we use 24/7 Office. Happy customer.
It's paying us to say that.
They have to invest now, whoever that is.
Seriously, I have a question. I didn't really figure out from your presentation that you were supposed to use money from your current business and sort of co-invest with the new investment. Does that mean that there's another company, a new company, which has the international rights, or is it within the mother company, everything in the same company?
Everything is in the mother company. So basically, what we will do will cost us 1.9 million, and we already have half of that on our account, even more than that, but we will use that to fuel this into this specific project. So it's essentially money saved from the running business.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Great.
Martin, you look like you're sitting on something brilliant. Not to put pressure on this.
Yeah,
or
I
you're
wish.
thinking of a good dry British joke. What do you have?
Yeah, I'm not here to be funny. I'm here to be deadly serious.
That's
right?
true. That's my job. Go ahead.
A good presentation. It's a very interesting area. There's a lot of interest from big insurers all around the world for this kind of stuff. And you told me earlier that Norway is leading the way. But what's the competitive landscape? What's the international landscape like? It looks a little bit too simple to me that you just get clients coming to you. And with SaaS companies, it is about constantly winning. It's about the momentum. It's about keeping the churn low. So what's your distribution strategy, the growth plans, basically, and your vision?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about that. Basically, what we're looking at for competitors as of today is that the market is very fragmented. So there are no clear market leaders. There are, of course, a lot of very cool competitors, which we see as a positive sign that this is really something that people need, obviously. So, but we also see that since there are no market leaders, there is a great opportunity to really get some traction going, and also, yeah, putting into and taking that position. As for our distribution strategy, that is something that we will definitely be working a lot more on right now. For a company with our profile, though, the most obvious choice would be to kind of take on the online marketplace, make a position online, and try to create. We both have been running some really great projects within lead generation. So I think that is probably the most obvious choice for us. But we're also looking into other alternatives, or more traditional word-of-mouth sales teams, or so on and so forth.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Your revenue was approximately 2 million NOK last year. But what is your current recurring revenue? The recurring revenue.
What was revenue last month?
The recurring revenue, you know.
Yeah, of course. As for the question of revenue last month, it was 500K. So we're having a good kind of traction in the business right now. As for the recurring revenue, I don't have a solid number for what's part of those 2 million that are recurring revenue. There are both some consultancy and some recurring revenue. The idea for the future is to improve and scale the recurring revenue and minimize the amount of hours spent. But I don't have a clear number on that for you right now.
Okay.
What I can say, though, is since the recurring revenue is directly linked to the amount of policies and the net premium, we've seen a very substantial growth in the amount of policies only the last few months, actually. So it's looking good. It is.
But the model is based on policies. What is your pricing model? Is it easy to understand? Is it 1 NOK per policy or claim, or how does it work?
Yeah, it's easy to understand, but we won't disclose it right now because we want to have a position in the negotiations. But it's easy to understand, and it's much more easier to understand and less complex than what our customers are usually used to. Yeah.
Okay. Any final questions? I think I'll throw one more in your way, just because I've been here 5 weeks. I'm missing US. I want my cheeseburgers, my police brutality. I'm missing all this stuff. You said you're going to go to US. That's the next major market you're going for. How do you start there? What's step one?
Step one is a trip to Palo Alto, the 10th of April. We will stay there for 6 weeks, and we have a very hectic program, meeting both existing clients and prospect new clients, and to find partners to work on the marketing strategy.
Okay, good answer. Ring me up too while you're there. We'll go to Google and ride the bikes.
We will.
Yeah.
Looking forward.
Get that free food they have. Let's hear it for them, everyone. Round of applause. All right, that concludes the show. Thank you to Angel Challenge for helping to help us judge, and also our judges as well. What's happening next is we're gonna have a break. As we mentioned, we're a little bit behind, like all good events. So this break will only be 15 minutes. So please grab a drink, chug it, and get back in here, and we have more good stuff for you. Thank you.
We will start in about 5 minutes. About 5 minutes. So guys, it's time to start again. So for those of you who haven't found your seats, please find somewhere to sit. There's some seats over here. And yeah, I can see there's room for more people here. And let me first start by saying that we have now reached 100,000 in crowdfunding for Islero, and there's 150,000 raised for cloud insurance. So let's give that an applaud. But guys, don't hold back. Use the opportunity. Join the crowdfunding. Thank you. And now I will invite a panel. Jostein Svendsen, both a friend and a hell of an entrepreneur. And I will also invite. Let me now say that I'm not mixing up the. Mixing up the name. Dusan Stojanovic. So please have your seat here, guys.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Jostein. Have a seat.
Likewise. Thank you.
And Dusan, have you lost him?
I saw him in the bar. So.
Okay. Well, while he is finishing his drink, why don't you, Jostein, start by telling who you are?
I was going to say, how many of you know who I am? Because I don't need to necessarily do the long story, but I've been a digital entrepreneur, started in Norway more than 20 years ago, 23 years ago. And I think I met you actually in the early days of the internet. Was that right?
That's very right.
1994,
but,
thereabouts.
Okay,
yeah.
But now I will interrupt you already, because if you are going to tell us about all those 23 years...
No, you're not going to do that. No, absolutely not. Anyway, I was a co-founder of two of the first internet companies in Norway, digital media companies. Both went public in Sweden, on the Swedish stock market. Then I spent 2 years in Silicon Valley. Then I came to London, started one of the first European fintech companies, except for we didn't call it fintech back in 1998, but it was an online financial service company and an online stockbroker. We raised actually 250 million kroner in funding before we even launched from Goldman's and George Soros. It was the fastest growing online stockbroker in London, the second best known financial service brand in London. And we exited at the end of 2000 to American Express. They turned it into American Express Financial Services Europe. Then I helped to set up the first online-only bank here in Norway, the first bank without any branches, Bankia Bank, which is now Santander Bank. We were cash flow positive in year 2, profitable in year 3, actually among the most profitable banks in all of Europe. Some of you maybe have heard about that. I did WeVideo. It was a Norwegian company, took it to Silicon Valley, raised more than 100 million kroner to it. Very successful. When I stepped down as the CEO, we were 7 million users, growing 1 million users a quarter. But very close to my heart have been how to use technology to change the financial service industry. So I'm now doing my third fintech, moved from Silicon Valley to London. And this time we are going to be bringing financial services to the underbanked around the world.
So Jostein, you are a heavyweight in many ways, but you're also a heavyweight when it comes to fundraising. I know few people that have been able to raise as much funds as you have. Me? We have a little...
some feedback. Yeah, exactly. So,
but my question is, you have raised how much money, and how much money have you created?
Yeah, so I think I raised close to 500 million kroner, roughly speaking. Actually, I don't know the exact number, and I don't know exactly how many billions in kroner we have created, but probably somewhere between 2 to 3 billion kroner. It has been a number of companies have been exiting around 400 million. One company, I think, went to 1.2 billion kroner in value. And yeah, so it's been a wonderful ride so far.
So, Dusan.
Sorry for being late. Sorry, is this working now? No?
It's the usual tech devil.
Hello? Hello, hello? Is this working now?
Yes, it's working.
Okay, great. So sorry for being a little bit late. I got very excited by the companies that just presented. So sorry about that.
Okay, but give us a few words about yourself and why you're here and your interest in this space.
Yeah, so definitely. So I had my entrepreneurial exit from a French internet bank called Mona Bank in 2004, based in Lille, which was a little bit like Skandia Bank and Ikano Bank in the Nordics, if you know these guys in Sweden. So I exited that in 2004, and ever since then I've been basically reinvesting my money into fintech. So I've done 18 investments in total, mainly my own money.
Please don't use this one. I think this is better, unfortunately.
Is this better? Yeah, now I can hear myself even. Sorry about that. So I did my exit in 2004 from a French internet bank called Mona Bank. I don't think anyone got that. And then I basically reinvested my cash for the last 10 years in 18 companies. From 2005 to 2010 from my own name, and then from 2010 and onwards from True Global Ventures, where I'm the single largest shareholder, where I have 40 investment partners. And basically, what I've been doing is investing in experienced entrepreneurs that within B2B fintech, and I'm doing that today in Beijing, Hong Kong, Singapore, where I live, Silicon Valley, New York, Paris, Berlin, Stockholm, and London. And that's it. 9 exits so far. It's worked okay. I worked very hard for it. And so far so good. I want to do more business, and that's why I'm here.
So, give us your perspective on, because of all the cities you mentioned, you didn't mention Oslo.
No, that's why I'm here.
You know,
because who could believe there would be 620 people here, which beats Stockholm? So this is what Sean told me. Sean told me, no way, you're not going to make 400 to 500 people. I'm going to make more, he said. Well, then I'm going to come, and I'm here.
So, give us your perspective on. Or give us your advices to the audience here and the entrepreneurs here and the people that want to engage in this market. Should they go to London or should they stay here? Should they go to Beijing?
I think you always have to go where the customer is. So I got actually pretty upset, sorry about that, with the last company that wants to go to Palo Alto. Where are the customers in Palo Alto? I was in Palo Alto 2 days ago. There is no customers for an insurance company in Palo Alto. There is Aviva, Allianz, MetLife, Manulife, whatever, but they're not sitting in Palo Alto. Palo Alto is tech, it's Google, Apple, Twitter, whatever, but it's not insurance companies. You go where you have customers. That's how you build companies. You don't go where there are no customers. That's a penalty. Sorry, that's wrong thinking. You go where you can accelerate your company. So that's why I've chosen all these 9 cities. Sure, in Silicon Valley there are a couple of, okay, sure, Wells Fargo, 1. Deutsche Bank has an outfit. Bridge Bank, okay, 3. And you can name them on your hand. So I do also have an outfit there. There is a couple of things there. But where you really should be is where your customers are. So I would say London, to summarize.
Or where your funding is, isn't?
Well,
or not?
I mean, should that really be that relevant? Shouldn't it be more relevant where the customers are? Should you really go where the bucks are? Or should you go where the real bucks are, which is coming from customers? That's the funding you want, right? We're going to downturn, right? Everybody, it's downturn, right? Has everybody heard that? Now it's worse than 2001. Nobody's investing anymore in the valley. It's dead. So where do you go? You go for customers.
Jostein, do you agree to this?
I completely agree. I went a trip to Silicon Valley. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I completely agree. The first thing any entrepreneur needs to focus on is to get customers. And then after the customers are there, the money will come. To try to go for money before you have customers, that's the wrong way around. I actually did a little bit of that mistake with the company I took to Silicon Valley. Wonderful Norwegian technology, 400,000 users in Europe, 10 countries. I thought we had a great story for Silicon Valley, but they looked at me like, where is Europe almost? So if you don't have customers in United States and Silicon Valley and traction there, it doesn't matter. You don't get a penny in funding. So what I had to do with VVideo, I had to spend the next 6 to 12 months to partner with Google, with YouTube, with Sony, with Samsung, and so on. And then I raised funding. Then we raised more than 100 million. I had a business plan for spending 10 to 20 million kroner. And we got more than 100 million. So we said, oh shit, what do we do now? But the point is, go where the customers are. First, you develop the technology in your home country before you even leave your home country. When you have a product market fit, that's when you go abroad. You build momentum there, and then the money will come by itself. And I agree, Silicon Valley is not a lot of insurance there, but I had a quick chat with the guys. They're doing the Think program, which is great. It's only 6 weeks, and then they're picking up a few ideas, getting inspiration from Silicon Valley, but they probably should go to London next.
You established your new company in London.
Exactly.
Why didn't you do it in Oslo?
Well, I wish. I was trying to pitch. I said, hey, give us some reasons to come to Norway. I had a meeting with Innovation Norway, and the problem is the funding and the help we can get here. It's less than I can raise in a morning from investors. So, and it's also, it's a lot of disadvantages, I have to say, and I regret it. That's the reason I left Norway 20 years ago, like the option and some of the taxation and so on. Makes it very hard to be an entrepreneur and basically incentivize your team through options. Because of that, it's very hard to do a capital efficient startup here, and I wish it was different. And I've been almost shouting at Norwegian ministers that have been visiting Silicon Valley and had the opportunity to talk to them, and I told them that they need to change some of the rammebetingelser, as we call it here in Norway. And I wish Norway could really become a hotbed for more startups. I have a little bit of a recipe for you, so if anybody wants to talk to me afterwards, I'll happy to share my thoughts.
I'm sure.
I think there is one more ingredient too. The customers need to be there, like I said before, right? But it's also that within these banks or insurance companies and the other guys, what they are offering, it's got to be people within the banks, insurance companies, which are embracing, new technology and innovation. So, it's some of you guys know me, but what I built out is a network of 600 innovation officers or corporate ventures that I talk to regularly. So even in your home market, if you want to go access to market, you need to find that champion within the insurance company, within the bank, who is embracing that. And they're called sometimes chief innovation officers or head of strategy or digital transformation responsible. They have different titles. It's not always the same. But the sexiest title that everybody's trying to get now is Chief Innovation Officer. These are the guys, and if these guys don't exist, then you go to the corporate venture department or these guys who invest some money and ask them for advice. Because banks and insurance companies are huge. So you've got to get in that organizations to actually be able to sell your offering. And that is key, even in your home market in Oslo. You need to get into the Nordea, the DNBs, and the Tanskes who are sponsoring this. You need to get in at the right level within their organizations. So they are kind of your extended sales force almost. They are on your side, because maybe they are even measured on innovation. Maybe they're measured on how many innovation projects they've helped into the bank, right? So BBVA is the absolutely best bank here, actually. It's not in Silicon Valley. So in BBVA, you have one Finnish guy who's running the whole thing called Pavola, and then the M&A department responds to him, the corporate venture department responds to him, and the innovation team responds to him. So they're extremely well structured. And actually, they're good. Santander is then beating with these guys, so it would be funny to see that actually there are two Spanish banks that are really, really well organized within this innovation. And they do loads of investments and embrace innovation in specific parts of their huge organization. So Santander has like one subsidiary which only embraces innovation, where they take all the risks. I'll give you another example, DBS, which is basically a Singapore bank. They do all the tests with DBS India. Why do they do that? Because it's less risky, right? They don't want to go it fully blown within their own home market and kill it, right? So they do something more measured, more structured, and then they actually prototype it there. Sorry, a long answer on that question. But I think it's essential to all the entrepreneurs how they can get to market quicker.
And I actually want to run you're doing a great job at marketing. All of you are there, but I also want to market Dushan a little bit. I was on a conference call with True Global Ventures earlier this week, and it's amazing the network they have built of all of the entrepreneurs who are extremely well connected. Having an investor like True Global Venture on board give you an extended sales force all over the world in all the major cities who have the network into these organizations. So if you can give any advice about what money should you bring on board, get people who really know the industry.
So that leads me to my next question.
Exactly.
You saw two pictures here. Two ambitious companies wanting to attack this market. If you should give your only two advices to them, what would it be?
I think the second one, which is much further along, I was almost shocked that they are both at the same valuation because one is really early, the other one is getting traction. The second one needs to think a lot bigger. The first one, I love you guys. You are in level 39. We are neighbors, and I keep meeting you guys all the time, giving you advice. So I'll keep doing that. I believe in them too.
I would say the same. The first one was early stage, so that's another. It's a great category, and I think they're awesome. And the other one for me, it's already growth. They have customers, so it's you can't compare them. That's number one. But if I would give advice, on the second one, definitely, like Jostein is saying, you gotta think big, guys. This doesn't work. This is why people are not coming here. And actually they should be coming here. No, you gotta go there. You're gonna go for it. You have to show this one page of traction. You don't have to go to Palo Alto to learn how to do a one page on traction. We can do that tonight. No, that's not why you're going to Palo Alto. It's the thinking you're going for Palo Alto. So that you can spend on a couple of weeks to think big, right? That you need, right? But that you've already done. You've been to Berkeley. You just have to get out there and dare to go out there. I think you can do it. You just have to show the guts. That's number one. And number two, I think you have to think about, a little bit more ambitiously about your go-to-market. So far, as you have both said, you are coming from an engineering background, right? Well, why don't you work, talent, recruit one person now, immediately, who is doing marketing and sales, and then as soon as you have recruited that person, I think sales is going to go up that, and after that, you do the round. I wouldn't take in any money. You have, how much did you have already? You had half, right? Right, well, use that to recruit that guy, and then do a Series A of a couple of million.
A lot more.
Thank you.
Higher valuation, more
Is it
money.
already sold?
My final question to both of you. I'm an investor. And this is not for real, but if I put 10 million euros on the table and asked you to start a fintech company, what would you do?
But I'm also an investor. But I do partner up with, so if you would put it in, because actually we kind of do a joint venture when we invest, right? So we do very few investments, we do 2 to 3, right? So if you would give me 10 million, what I would do with that money? Actually, still the major challenge at that stage where we are, where there are user cases and up and running, is actually recruitment and recruit for talent. It's still actually very hard to find talent. So it's no matter if it's engineering or marketing and sales, marketing and sales in organizations like ours, it's so unstructured. You can't come from a big organization to actually do the sales the way we do it. And it's hard to find these people. So, I would spend probably a lot of that money on both marketing and sales, but also on the engineering talent. So it's basically talent, talent, and talent.
But what kind of company would you put it in?
Oh, so
insurance?
Yeah. So the kind of 5 top areas that I'm looking at, if that's what I guess your question is. So within fintech, actually, I'm not looking at too volatile businesses because I think we are going to have a stock market crash, which will kill not only the public markets but also private companies and startups, and it's going to be a bloodbath. So nothing kind of linked to that kind of cycle, right? So you're going to have to think anti-cyclical. So what I would be investing in, definitely blockchain, because bank will need to actually slim their organization because they will also be part of this bloodbath. It's not the banks only, but everybody will be. So they need also to think a little bit more how they're going to take out cost. So blockchain, yes. Security, definitely yes. No matter if we have upgoing trends or back or trends downwards, basically security is needed for within the fintech for sure. Then big data, yes. Because big data is also actually using existing information better within banks, insurance companies, and actually at the end of the day, it's a huge cost saving. I would also invest in something so unsexy as compliance and KYC. It's part of fintech, which we call nowadays RegTech. I think there are huge opportunities. I think the HSBC officially told how many people actually work with compliance there. How many do you think work with compliance with HSBC?
Thank you. Jostein, what would you do?
27,000.
What would you do with 10 million euros? You would invest them in your own company, I know.
I would build exactly what I'm building right now, which is a next generation financial service company, which is basically automating using all of the technologies that Dusan were just talking about to create the next generation bank. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now in London. And we are using the latest in technology, regulations, compliance, KYC. We are using artificial intelligence, machine learning. We are going mobile first. We are being in the cloud. And we can go global from day one. And the interesting thing is that I met some investment bankers in London, and I thought they were going to, in San Francisco, and I thought they were going to tell me about it's 50 other companies doing the same as us. But they said the problem with bankers, they don't understand technology. The problem with technology people, they don't understand banking. So what we are building right now is actually in the combination of technology and banking, and we are in a pretty unique position. And that's where I would put all that money. And anybody else, come and talk to me.
Thank you very much, guys. Let's give them an applause.
Yes. Thanks,
So you can keep this on. I will. I want you to sit here.
Okay.
And partly participate in what I will do. What I will do next,
Okay.
which will be to invite a panel up here. So could panel participants please step forward? I think you're supposed to sit over here.
We got all the mics right.
Okay, they have to be mounted. Okay, so let me just, while they're fixing the microphones, let me remind you, if you're tweeting, use the hashtag TechLiveOslo, and we're almost, it's over 400,000 raised by now in crowdfunding to the companies that have presented there today.
Stop it, don't dilute you more. Too much illusion. You already diluted yourself immensely.
Okay, invest more in those guys. Yeah. It's the last time you get in on that price.
Have your seats, gentlemen. So I suggest that we first start with you guys just giving a few words about yourself, who you are, and your interest in the fintech area, both past and going forward. Why don't we start with you, Telef? You are.
My name is Telef Tulason. I'm running a venture capital firm called Northern. I co-founded the firm in '96. I've been doing it for some 20 years. We raise funds. We use those funds and invest in companies. We've invested in about 130 companies since we started. Currently active in some 37, 38 companies. Over the last couple of years, we've engaged in some 28 new companies, of which 3 in Norway. And in the fintech area, we have about 8 investments currently, and we're actively looking for new ones. Thanks.
My name is Steinar Slalsen. I'm a partner with the Berninger Finance here in Oslo. We do tech M&A transactions, working with large and small companies wanting to raise capitals or acquire assets or sell off assets. I've had a background here in the Nordic tech sector for about 10 to 15 years, typically working with early stage tech companies, serving on boards alongside with some of the venture companies here in town, and also doing private investments. Thank you.
My name is Bent Eidem. I'm heading business banking here in Norway, in Danske Bank. I'm also part of the management group taking care of business banking clients in 15 northern European countries. I'm also part of the transaction board in Danske Bank, taking care of all the transactions, the infrastructure internal in the bank, working closely with how to develop this further on. And also part of the board that taking care of the infrastructure and the payment services in Finance Norway, this membership organization for the banks in Norway.
My name is Åge Korsvold. I have a background from finance. I've been dabbling in tech investment for many years. I'm now chairman of Frontier Solutions, which is a company using technology to create a new value proposition for asset management.
So let me start by asking you guys, you are all very experienced and you know this market fairly well. Is innovation happening in the large corporations, in smaller companies, or is it a kind of, is it happening in the large corporations, or in the small companies, or is it happening in a joint venture between them? Telev.
That's a big question. I mean, I obviously focus very much on innovation that happens in small companies, in the startups and in those areas, because very often the creative type of innovations and the ones that challenges existing business models and ways of thinking very often happen outside the incumbents of the large companies. It doesn't mean that innovation is not happening within companies, but obviously the bigger you are, the tougher it is to manage, the harder it is to take care of the rebellious type of your Stan Svenssons in a big organization. And as such, there is continuous opportunities for new companies to attack the incumbents, to come up with new ideas, and to do things in a better way. So to your question, yes, obviously both places, but these days, with the very rapid pace of change in terms of new technology, it has become increasingly difficult for the big companies to manage the rapid rate of change. And as such, we're seeing that they feel that in a way there's nowhere to hide. They feel an increasing threat from new companies. And as such, also there are bigger opportunities for new companies.
Åge, are the larger companies paying enough attention to what's going on in the garden of innovation among all these small companies?
Well, I think that there's a lot of innovation going on in the large companies. But the large companies have a business to manage. And of course, that's their daily earnings and their bread and butter. I think if you look at history, innovation has been going on for as long as there's been large corporations. And I think if you think about your textbooks, what always happened was that innovation can go a long way before the incumbents really start to use resources to sort of gobble up the innovators. And so I think that and this is probably, one reflection listening to the discussion today, a lot of the innovation that you are talking about is really functional innovation. The big game is, of course, who controls the customer. And we haven't really probably yet started seeing some of the big shifts. But of course, the big uncertainty is, of course, as you all know, that all our customers are being trained to act differently. I think that is the big change that is happening, and that is maybe the one thing that is different from what we have seen in the past. But apart from that, I think there is a lot of innovation going in the larger corporations, and I think don't underestimate the incumbents.
Bent.
Yeah.
Do you think that we see, these large corporates, they are in many ways married to the regulator, to the government?
Yep.
Do you think that we will see a kind of Uber effort in the banking sector, as we have seen among the taxis? Someone coming from outside, just disrupting the whole thing, and the regulator have to run after it and try to clean up as good as they can?
I think, to be honest, I think that's already happening out there, because we see a lot of initiatives that the regulators not have seen so far, and they have to run after them. But I also think that the banks are waking up about what's happening out there. I think as our banking group are thinking at the moment, we have to be open about what's happening out there, because we have these 5 million customers we want to take care of, but also want to develop. And if we're not taking care of that position, we then are going to be dead in what's going on in the future for our industry. So we have to be both humble but also eager to both compete but also cooperate together with this new thing happening out there.
Steinar, in Europe, we don't see that frequently that the large corporations, also in the fintech areas, are buying smaller companies to get the innovation into their own organization. I think our observation as a former venture capitalist and following this market, this is much more likely to happen in the US. Is this right, and do you think it is like this, and why do you think it is so?
I think in the past it might have been the case, but I think we also see that it's changing, and also we see that the top-tier European consumer banks at various levels, they all have innovation activities. You have Santander Innoventures, you have a lot of players being active at level 39 in London. And you also see that they need to engage in the younger companies as part of their learning process, because that's really where they see the change first. Then they can be at liberty to actually acquire the company sooner or later, but at least they need to understand what's going on that might disrupt them. And you have a Russian bank like Sberbank, they have their own venture fund investing particularly in companies disrupting the core bank. So I think it's a matter of how you organize your innovation system, and it has to be organic and inorganic innovation, and you need to put this into a larger play for you to be relevant in the future, I think.
Do you agree to this, Telef? Do you see the larger corporations paying interest to your portfolio companies?
Yes, I think it's sort of twofold. On the one hand, you have startups in the fintech area that are challengers, that are attackers, that go for bits and pieces of what the banks and the insurance companies do, specialize, and they try and do that better, cheaper, less fancy offices, smaller margins, and being very, very slim, they can have a cost picture that is very different from the traditional incumbents in the banks. And you could do that in factoring or in loan provisioning, whatever. And that's very much we focus on those type of companies. And for instance, we sharehold in Klarna, and Klarna is doing something that the banks ought to do in terms of providing credit when you buy something on the internet, basically. So it's the core of what they do. And then, but we also have a number of fintech companies that have a sort of symbiotic relationship with the established banks and insurance companies and the fintech industries in terms of they sell to them, or some banks also invest in them, like in iSettle, where we both are. MasterCard, Amex, Visa have invested in iSettle. It's a competitor, but it's also a partner. And so you see that sort of interdependence arising, and your corporate venture arms investing. So it's not sort of a dichotomy where it's a total different worlds. I think we will see more of that.
So there is one area that interests me a lot, and it is. I know it's a gamble, but I need to listen to what you four guys will give for advice for me as a Bitcoin investor. I have done a multiple on my money already. Åge, should I move out?
I admit I'm completely blank on Bitcoin.
Someone else want to comment on Bitcoin?
I can say we are curious about the technology behind Bitcoin. So I think that's the thing we are looking into.
The blockchain technology. Is this something that is happening in your bank?
Yeah, we want to invest and want to understand what's happening there, because we want to also go for efficiency, because we know about this cost problem the banks have. So we have to find an efficient solution for the customers as well. I think that should be the main drivers for our efforts in that area.
I think ultimately, I mean, in the long run, why should we let the governments have the monopoly to print money, right? I mean,
Thank you.
They are, and they abuse it. Like, I mean, the Americans, they print money all the time and finance a big deficit by printing more money. So it should be done in a better way. I think ultimately, if not bitcoins, but some other, maybe the second, third, fifth generation cryptocurrencies will prevail, I think. But typically we tend to overestimate what will happen in the short run and underestimate what will happen in the long run, as we've done before. So I think it's bound to happen, but I have no clue how long it will take. We've invested in one Bitcoin exchange company in Sweden, and obviously it's been tough, and they're trying to change business plan, whatever. I'm in the short run more optimistic on variances of blockchain technology, meaning that you can control, in a way, you monitor how a transaction takes place rather than sending it through one central repository. You can trace it all along, and that's not necessarily dependent upon cryptocurrencies, but could be in a fiat traditional currency.
Dusan, do you own any bitcoins?
Sorry, once again,
if you own any Bitcoin?
No, I don't actually. I don't. I do own facilitators, but not own myself Bitcoin. I don't speculate in Bitcoin itself.
You don't believe in it?
I do believe in the technology behind a lot. Actually, I think it's going to revolutionize banking, and not only banking, by the way. But the point that I just wanted to make is the regulators. So one of the reasons why I moved to Singapore is that the regulators are taking this very, very seriously in terms of innovation. So not only have they benchmarked and copied the regulation from London and put that down to Singapore, you know what they've done more? The regulators have a fund of 200 million Singapore dollars, which is $166 million, to invest in the space. Hope somebody is from a regulatory body.
Jostein, you want to comment on my Bitcoin investment?
Bitcoin, yeah, no, get out of it. No, but I completely agree. Bitcoin was a great, it created a lot of hype and awareness around the technology, which is going to change a number of industries, including banking, financial services, and that's about distributed ledger, cryptocurrencies, and so on. That's going to change everything. And again, on the conference call with True Global Ventures, it was amazing to see how something that used to cost $40 to move some money from one country to another now can be done for 25 cents. So it's a huge change, and that's what you need to invest in. Forget about Bitcoin. That was all hype. I also just want to comment on the previous question about innovation. So I co-founded two online financial service companies, and I think you, Åge, was actually a part of the second one. And both of those ended up being actually bought by some of the largest financial institutions in the world. What we did there was that before the big financial institutions was really there and understanding what was happening, we were doing the innovation in the startups. But then when we had proven the model, then the big financial institution came and bought us. And in a way, and that's very typical for the big companies. They rather wait for innovation to happen in the small companies, and then they go and acquire the solution that have been proven in the market and bring that innovation in-house. So that have happened time and time again. Now, as I spoke about BBVA and Santander, for instance, they are now becoming even more proactive. They not only wait till they're ready for exit, but they actually go in much earlier now and invest in them. And I think that's a great trend because it means that the rate of innovation is increasing.
So, Åge, is Oslo an interesting place to be for a fintech investor?
I think Oslo and Norway have great technical people. You know, we're independent farmers, and no one can manage us. So I think we have exactly the right profile. You asked about, you know, what you would give for advice. The cloud insurance. If you go to Palo Alto, you go there for one reason: to set up a board with a network to start, you know, to introduce you into the marketplace. That's why I go there, and I've seen that again and again. We take the technology, we move it into the US somewhere, and you create a network, and the rate of change and the acceleration in the marketplace and the customers. That is what happens when you move out. And I think that, and we will never, that network we will probably never have here. And I think that is the big difference between Oslo and some of the hubs that you're talking about. So and don't wait until the technology is perfect. As soon as you have something, move.
Tellef, what was your view on Oslo? Northzone is represented in many cities around the world: New York, London, Stockholm.
In Europe right now, the three main hubs are London, Berlin area, and the Nordics. Those are the three main hubs in terms of creating very valuable startups in the digital area, not just fintech, but other. Obviously, things also coming out of Spain and France and so on. But if you look at the share numbers, and not least when you look at how many people live in the Nordics, it's impressive what's been coming out, what's been produced of interesting companies, of new consumer brands like Spotify and other companies that come out of the Nordics lately. Unfortunately, when I say the Nordics, it's a lot more Sweden and partly Finland and Denmark actually than Norway. We've been oil doped for many years. And as I tend to say and said earlier today, that I mean, good engineers, when they get paid 1 million NOK a year before they graduate and they can bicycle to work and have a good job and a happy wife, I mean, why bother to do a startup? It's bloody hard work, right? And now that's changing. And when Aker Solution is firing a few hundred people and a large number of very, very qualified skilled programmers, and they can no longer, make programs in seismic investigations or whatever it's called, and they have to change field. And so that's great because there will be more happening. And we're seeing today that a lot is popping up. So I think yes. And secondly, as a long answer, the Nordic banks are actually quite advanced compared to many other countries. We keep on complaining, and I like poking at them and telling you guys, you're dragged down in red tape and legacy, and you're lazy and you're fat and all that. But compared to the US banks, since they still write checks, that's a good thing when also having that symbiotic relationship. So like one Swedish player that we invested in, Capital, they moved the whole team to the US, not because they wanted to speak with Googles and the others, but simply because they're taking consumer behavior from the Nordics and learnings from the Nordics, applying that in a US market where the banks are so slow. It's a great opportunity.
Steinar, is the Oslo fintech companies competitive enough to meet the competition from London and Berlin and other places?
Yeah, I would say most definitely. Most of the companies that I've met, and many of them are on display out there, they are very much aware of what markets they want to address and what resources they need, being it capital or talent or distribution or access. So I think it's much a matter of wanting and daring to take that first step and then become a true global entity and maybe move that company over time to London or to wherever your market is. But yeah, I'm very impressed with what I've seen so far.
Björn, if I should attract the attention of Danske Bank with a portfolio company, what kind of company would you like to see then?
What kind of company?
This is an exit opportunity, guys.
Yeah, I think some of the companies doing this things for customers, you said something about invoice companies, factoring, what could be automatized for the customers, and we can buy the technology behind, and also the people behind it. That should be something we like to invest in. So that could be an idea.
Thank you. Can we take a couple of questions from the audience? If there's anyone who wants to raise their hand and ask this excellent panel or these guys here about anything? No, I understand you want your break and a beer. Oh, thank you.
About the blockchain technology, what kind of time frame do you think it would take to mature the technology into something useful? Because there's a lot of exploration going on right now, a lot of innovation, but we haven't really seen the effects of it, the partial Bitcoin investments that you have done. So what are you thinking? When will we see the companies that are actually successful in utilizing this?
I think it's already started. I mean, I have a U.S. investment. It was called Nasdaq Private Marketplace, where through Shares Boost we had 25% of the company, and they piloted Chain, which was basically how do you move securities with the distributed ledgers, and they piloted within, like we talked about it before, within the joint venture that we had with NASDAQ called NASDAQ Private Market, and now they're moving into NASDAQ. So really, I think it's happening right now. It's really right now, and Justin is kind of indirectly mentioning some things that we are about to invest into. What we are looking into is actually U.S. entrepreneurs who have a couple of user case studies and maybe taking them to Asia, because it's actually happening really in the U.S. and I would say it's really happening in London as well. We had an event, Disruption Banking, where Justin was as well, where you could see real user cases. So this is not just blah, blah. It's up there running, and you can call the banks and see, or stock exchanges, and ask them for reference if they're happy or not.
So in our case, we are ready to start deploying blockchain into some of our business processes. Some people ask, does that mean people are going to be doing Bitcoin stuff with our organization? No, but blockchain for sure.
Okay, guys. That's it for the panel debate. Thank you very much to the panel. But before they leave the stage, I would like to have the attention to this again. It's now raised 900,000 in crowdfunding. Woo. Thank you very much to the panel. Thank you very much, Dusan and Jostein. So, now we're going to our next point on the program, which is the Innovation Awards, the FinTech Innovation Awards. And I shall come up Kjell Brun Torvik, and Nils Christian Einstabland. So,
here we go.
I think it's on now. Isn't it? Once more.
Hello? Is this on? Hello?
You're on.
I'm on. Okay, can you hear me? No.
You're not on.
My finger is on.
No, you're on.
Okay. So we'll try. Hello? Hello?
Is it good enough?
No, not now. I think so. Hello?
Okay, not this one.
Check.
Not this one.
We can? Technical issues.
Hallo? Hallo?
Hallo? Hallo? Hallo?
Vi tar alle tre opp på tanken var vi tar alle opp først. Ja.
Heard him out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Sure. So, I don't think so. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes? Oh, no. Is it yes or no? Do you have another one ready?
Hallo? Hallo?
Okay.
Prate høyt i den.
Okay.
Ja, det är helt fel på det här.
Hello.
Tack, det är bedre, det var bedre. Gud så lett dette her.
No. Hello. Finally. We're on.
Very good.
So let's try. So basically we're here to introduce what we call the Norwegian FinTech Innovation Award for 2016. And myself, I represent Abelia, which is a business association for the knowledge and technology companies in Norway. We represent about 1,700 companies within IT, education, telco, consultancy, and research. And basically what we do is we address the regulatory issues like was mentioned up here. So I got some good hints here earlier.
Okay, thank you. I'm representing law from Selmer, and we are very proud to contribute to making this event tonight possible. And we are very enthusiastic also to be having a space in this area which kind of bring three of our core resources and capabilities together. We have a strong position in the financial services and a very strong regular team in finance. We also have a strong technology team in various industries, and we have a long-lasting and strong passion for innovation and early startup companies. So glad to be here.
So basically, in addition to Nils Christian and myself, the jury has consisted of Susanne Hannestad, who we met previously, CEO of FinTech Mundi, and Martin Hauge, who we've also been acquainted with, private investor and venture partner for Creandum, and Gormstein Eriksen, lead business development bank finance at Knowit, and also Steinar, who we met, Svalesen, who's partner at Beringer Finance, and also then the FinTech Innovation Award project manager. So I have to say that on behalf of the jury, we've had a really challenging but rewarding task to address, having to choose firstly 3 finalists and also a winner for this award. And like we heard earlier in this conference, we both have a really interesting emerging startup scene within this fintech area in Norway. But we also have some of the more, which I say, matured companies that are showing signs of willingness also to self-disrupt parts of their business, which is really interesting to see, and extra interesting also in the Nordics in that context. So what we want to do is to reward some of the best representatives of this industry in Norway, and we believe that these companies are the ones that should be up here in the spotlight and basically show the rest of the world the potential of their businesses and basically on their products as well. And I guess I'll get out of the way and let you, Nils Christian, present the top 3 finalists.
Thank you. The jury has evaluated almost 50 companies. And in the process, we have based our assessment on 5 criteria. It must be an innovative product or service. There must have been certain actual achievements from a technology or market perspective. You must see a global potential of the company and the product or service. You must start to take a brand position to be remarked in a market space, and it's a crowded area. And not least, we must kind of see that the team has the strength and capabilities to actually execute their ambitions. And after a thorough assessment process, we have 3 finalists. And 3 finalists, they will get rewarded. All three will get 2 free tickets to the Excel FinTech event in Frankfurt in March. That is Europe's largest invitation event this year in the FinTech area. The winner will also get a expo booth at the same event, as well as free legal services from law firm Selmer. And the 3 finalists are Swipe, Mia Wallet, and NCAP Security. So if you are here, please enter the stage.
Is anyone still here?
Yeah.
Come on up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck. That's just you here, because we have made all the 3 have made an impressive development throughout 2015. And we see also have innovative products and strong team that have capabilities of making international success. The winner among the 3 provides a device-based strong authentication and e-signature solution, with mainly focusing on the financial industries and with uncompromising security and user experience. They have made large achievements last year, both in respect of attracting international customers and among also international attention in between business analysts with global perspectives. They have launched the version 3.0 of their product and have reached international visibility in strong brand and finance, like Financial Times and other international papers. And the winner is NCAP Securities. Congratulations. We can present this award.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. And you may also congratulate your mom and dad and whoever have deserve it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, now it's on? Yes. $1.25 million is today raised in crowdfunding. Congratulations. It's really amazing. Great companies, and this has been a great conference. I really appreciate it. For those of you who have asked more about the companies I'm interested in, you can go on my LinkedIn profile. you know my name, Martin Haugen. You can find them there. You also find something that we haven't seen here, and I see very little of in Norway. You can find a female entrepreneur. And this company I mentioned to you is a 25-year-old female entrepreneur who has started this no isolation company. I would not do any more commercials for that one. But I would also like to thank the partners again that have all supported this event. I would like to thank all the participants up here on stage. And I will give a special thank to Christopher Bø from Ayer for awesome design and web services. He has been responsible for this. So guys, thank you very much. And now it's networking. And networking means talking to people that you haven't been talking to before. Make sure now to add more people to your LinkedIn. And make sure to make some new friendships and new contacts today. And before I round this off, I also would like to thank Sean Tanke, who has been responsible for the event. He is, of course, not sitting here, but let's give him an applause anyway.